My conversation with Angela Akromfi continues here. If you haven't yet watched part 1, kindly go back and view that, and then you'll be able to see how the conversation really flows from that part into this part. And if you're not yet a subscriber to our Culture to the World, feel free to subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. So, like, share the video, subscribe, and leave a comment at the end. Okay, let's go on and listen to how Angela responds to my question. I noticed there seems to be an interest, a lot of interest in recent years among African Americans in travel to West Africa, Ghana in particular. And do you have any thoughts on maybe why this is so?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. So in 2019, that's when they had that big push for what is it? Return to Ghana.
The year of the
What?
return or something. Yeah.
Yeah, year of the return.
Mhm.
And so that was something pushed by the Ghanaian government, and also I think it was a US based group called the Andinkra group,
Okay.
something like that, and an Adinkra group. And so that was where they were encouraging a lot of African Americans, or not even Americans, just a lot of African diasporans
Right.
to return. So when they were talking about free land and all this stuff, and then it was hyped by YouTubers as well. And to be honest, actually living here over a year, I believe that a lot of it, I know a lot of people are going to kill me for this, but a lot of it was hype. Just being honest.
Right.
Yeah, Ghana is a pretty tough place to live. And it's not easy, and it's a lot of people are saying, oh, it's so inexpensive, and you can come here with next to nothing. You got the free land and all that stuff. Ooh, I'm gonna put out a video on buying land, because oh, it's a process. It's a process.
I can imagine.
And it can be a nightmare, and it can be scary. It actually can be very, very scary. You have to have pretty thick skin. You have to be ready to be taken. You have to be ready to lose some money, because there are so many people that are out to get you, so to speak, especially if they know you're a foreigner. They think all foreigners are just loaded with money. Back to your question, I really do think it was like overhyped. Ghana is a beautiful place. And it especially to visit. But to live realistically, it's tough. And just for people to come in with their eyes open, you can't come with just 10,000 in your bank account and think, oh man, that 10,000, that's going to take me 5 years to go through. That 10,000 can be gone in like 1 month, if you're not careful. Right. If you live like you're in America, in Ghana, yeah, 10,000 would be gone in a month easy. So I put out a video on how you can live reasonably, right, in Ghana, and your money can stretch, but you can't live, like you have a 6-figure salary, that you may have had in the United States when you have given up your job, and now you're here. And if you don't have a job where you have that foreign income stream, but if you don't have that, then you're going to be pretty messed up. So you really need to have that in place. If you do, Ghana will be, a nice place to live. You can live in your nice area, and you can live with your nice paved streets, that are well maintained. You can stay within your little community, which I strongly advise people to get out, amongst the people, the
Mhm.
locals, and really experience Ghana to the full, which I'm doing. Like I hardly know any Americans. I can count them on one hand how many Americans I know. But you know, the interest in Ghana, and you know what? Now that I'm in Ghana, I actually don't even know how it is in America if that interest is still strong. I know when I left, it was still fairly strong. I don't know if people are still, wanting to come to Ghana as they were, especially in 2019 and 2020, when it was so much about the free land. But now that quite a few people have moved over to Ghana, there's quite a few that have returned, because it is difficult and their money is gone. They've spent it unwisely, or didn't properly invest it, so they're broke and they go back to America. um we had two choices, when we moved here. It was either live off your savings or you know become an entrepreneur, open a business, which is what we decided to do. I felt more comfortable, we felt more comfortable doing that than just living off savings or the interest off, investments or whatever. Which is good depending on how much you have, to be able to live off the interest. But with those things in place, if you have the proper tools in place, then I can see why people are interested in Ghana, because it is a beautiful country. It is so beautiful, especially when you get to the outskirts, the less populated areas, the virgin areas, so to speak. Every morning I wake up and the sun is shining. And even when the sun isn't shining, even when it's cloudy, because the weather is so warm, it's just, I just love it. Every time I open the door, it's just like the sun says, "Good morning, Angela," and
Yes, yes. That's yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. Yes.
Mhm,
So now you mentioned being an entrepreneur, and I know you have your store, you had mentioned it before, Modern Fabric. So,
mhm,
what are you mentioned earlier that you sell African print cloth as fabric as well as other kinds of lace and so on. And I know that, I've seen West African fashion and some of that lace is really ornate that they make the really the the like dresses that we might wear to weddings and so on with. But tell us some about your store, your goals for the business, how there's so many things about that, how you share Ghanaian culture with that, and how
mhm.
you have been able to share aspects of your American culture and business ethics with during the business.
Okay. So I touched on this a little bit, but so we decided, we're not quite retirement age. We got good decade or so, or so to go
Mhm.
to be retirement age. But so it's like, okay, we still need to work. And even though the dollar goes a lot further here than it would in America, but and we just weren't ready just to sit down and kick our feet up and whatnot. So it's like, okay, let's get into a business. And we chose fabric because um Ghana, there, okay, America is such a ready to wear, right? We go to the store and we buy off the shelf, but Ghana, they wear ready to wear clothes as well, but also they are very much into their traditional garb, especially for weddings, for baby naming ceremonies, for engagement parties, baby showers. They dress to the nines. I mean, I tell them it looks like every event they're like not only going to the wedding, but they're in the wedding party. their clothes are so elaborate and luxurious, sophisticated. I tell them, a lot of times, you guys like you're going to an Oscar, the Oscar award show. So, um, because they dress so elaborate, so we sell lace, we sell, very luxurious lace, and then we sell the African prints as well, as you said. So, and then also the accessories that go along with it, buttons, thread, this stuff called stiff interfacing,
Right.
body netting, which is, when you have something that's like the same color of your skin, where it looks like you don't have anything on, your skin. So that's body netting. Excuse me. We sell organza. We even sell rain boots. Because rainy season, it rains, so much here, which that is not the main goal of our store. But because so many people, when I wore my rain boots, they were like, oh my goodness, I love those boots. Where can I get some? Get me some, get me some. So it's like, okay, throw some rain boots in there. But we sell handbags also for the dresses, like evening clutches and whatnot. And anyway, so touched on why we went into the business. It's a great demand for it. And as far as what our goal is for the business, it's just to be able to live comfortably, in Ghana. We don't want to open, a franchise or anything like that, but just be able to live comfortably in our new home country of Ghana. And while things that I've learned from Ghanaians is that they are like, as far as marketing goes, Instagram is a big time marketing tool that we use today in America. In Ghana, the young people will use Instagram and whatnot and social media, but not the older ones. So of course, with our business, we attract people of all ages. So I can give someone my Instagram handle or whatever, and they're more than happy to go on and look at that, use it. But a lot of times, marketing spreads by word of mouth solely. That's like 90% word of mouth. And in comparing it to America, where if someone puts up a big billboard sign, we're like, oh, that store opened, I'm going to it. You know what I mean? It's not someone had to tell you. It's you in your car, you see it. And you may do a U-turn even to go to that store. In Ghana, it's not like that. You can have a billboard up and they may look at the billboard and then to see what's up there, but they don't necessarily read the billboard. They just look up, oh, something big is up there. And then they keep going about their business. Yeah. So even though we have like a billboard, above our store, people don't really pay attention to it. Also, too, it's new to them to have businesses located on the second floor. Because at first, I guess all their businesses, their buildings were not story buildings. They were only one level buildings. Or they wouldn't even be a building, Melba. They would be just like a little kiosk. My store, a lot of people will walk by it because they feel like it's too expensive. So they don't even, whereas in America, we're curious. We may not be able to afford it, but we're still probably going to go in and look and see what they have.
So why do they assume? Why do they think it's too expensive?
Because it's in a building and not in a little kiosk.
Okay.
But it's in a building. And the way we have the fabric displayed, and because it is luxury lace and whatnot, even though other stores sell lace far more expensive than ours, but because of the area we're in, we know we can't go above a certain price or we're not going to get any customers, right? So because the lace is beautiful, and when they see it, they're like, oh my goodness, this is going to be too much for me. Let me just walk on by. as I said, in America, we're prone to, well, I'm curious. I just want to go see what they have. And you look at the prices and then you try and head to the back and see what's on sale, right? Maybe you can afford what's back there, but they don't go in at all. So I found that, really interesting and different. So they don't go in at all. So what I have to do is I bust open my door and I say, hey, come here, come here.
You
Drag
have to
them in off the
actually
street.
call them in.
Do you know this fabric store? And they said, yes, I do. They said, but I can't afford. I can't afford. I said, oh, I said, give me 30 seconds of your time. 30 seconds of your time. That's it. And they'll be like, okay. They come in. They're like, I had no idea these prices were so good. They're so affordable. I'm like, yeah. And you're just going to walk by. You're going to go drive, get in a car. You're going to take a trotro, which is their transportation system, which is a little van. Spend money on that to go to the town that's a couple towns away to buy your fabric, to walk through, bump through the hustle and bustle of people to get to buy some fabric when you can get it right here. And they're just like, wow, I had no idea. So I get customers that way. So I'm here at my store where we sell all kind of fabrics. The name of my store is Modern Fabric Fashion and Beauty. And as you can see, we have embroidered lace. This is big sequin lace, I call it. We have some lace fabrics here from Nigeria. This is velvet and sequins. They call this just sequins here. And then we have some brocade. Like I said, this is straight from Nigeria. We have some cotton laces. And then down below, we have, I think you can see that. This is our paradise. We actually have paradise here in the front as well. Probably can't see. Let's see if you can see it better. Yeah, this is some of our paradise. And then we have wedding laces here. And they can also be used for other occasions as well. They have events, Mother of the Bride dresses, and they have baby naming ceremony dresses. So they use this fabric for things like that, for bridesmaids and such. We have this fabric here for wedding gowns. It's very beautiful. We keep them packaged in white, so it's very dusty here in Ghana. It gets dirty. So we have these is threaded beaded lace. Some more cotton lace here in Ghana. They call this black and white funeral lace. But I know in places outside of Africa, this could be used just for everyday wear. It's very, very pretty. And then we have this red and black, which is called funeral lace as well. And then this is some more heavily beaded sequin lace that's used for really special events, such as weddings and things like that again. And then we have this beautiful sequined, we call this S lace. And then for the folks that can't afford the more expensive lace, then this is more affordable. This is only like $6, $7 a yard, so it's a very good deal. We have some more sequin, more paradise back here. And then here we have our African prints. We have some traditional African prints, and we have some traditional being more like kente cloth, but it's not the authentic kente cloth. That is very, very expensive. We're not selling those right now in the store, or we don't have it stocked. But we do have suppliers that we can get a hold of, because not a lot of people come here asking for that. Let's see. So some more African prints, and then we have what they call cotton lining down here. And then we have organza and organdie. That is very, very beautiful. I love this color, fuchsia. So we have that in different colors. And then this is bridal lining with some more fabrics. So you can see our store is loaded. We actually have handbags as well. And I introduced a new concept here, and that's renting bags, because a lot of times they just wear them once and they pack it away in their closet. So I'm giving them the opportunity to be able to just rent the beautiful bags and bring them back in good condition. And then we actually, because it rains so much in Ghana, we actually sell rain boots as well for those that are interested. So that's my store. Hope you liked it, and check you out. When you're in Ghana, make sure you come to Oyarifa, okay, and check us out in person and see what kind of deals I can get you. Which, like I said, why not just go in and look, even if it does look, expensive? But I understand why they don't. They say because they will get insulted. So if you go into a store and you don't buy, they say people will insult you. The owners will insult you. Why'd you come in here? You didn't even buy anything. Why'd you waste my time? But I'm like, no. I will tell people, just come in and look. You don't have to buy. Just come look. Because maybe you don't need something right now. But another time you may. Or you may not need it, but you may have a friend that has a wedding coming up or something like that you can say, hey, there's a new fabric store in town. So just come in and look. So they do. And, I get customers that way. But so again, that's something that is different, culturally wise. Also, too, with time. So there's no respect for time. A lot of time, the hype. This is answering a question before about why are so many people interested in Ghana. So this is covering that a little bit too, is that, Ghana is so laid back to a fault at some point, where, you can say, hey, I have an event at, come over to my house for dinner at 6 p.m. And you'll have people coming in at 7, 8 o'clock when you're ready to put the food up, you're like, that invitation was for 6, okay? And so respect for time, even in business. I'll give you a perfect example. So I have one employee who's leaving. She put in her 2-week notice. So she gave us a 2-week notice. So I had an interview today. So I tell the lady, be here 12 noon. So on Saturdays, sometimes we're open, sometimes we close. I mean, depending on our schedule, but most of the time we're Monday through Friday. We tell her to get there at noon, or I tell her to get there at noon. So, and I opened the store specifically for this interview. So noon comes around, not there. I look at my phone. Is there a text? Maybe she texted me and said, I'm running late. No text. Okay. So then I text her and I said, listen, I am going to be leaving at 12:15. It's like 12:05, 12:08 at this time. I'm leaving at 12:15. The interview was at 12 noon. And I told you that punctuality is very important. This is almost like a pre-test, right? You can't show up on an interview on time, nor give me a phone call. So then after I get back home, I get a text. No, a phone call. I'm at the store. Oh, really? Well, I'm at home. Well, I'm at the store. Yeah. I told you to be there at 12 noon. It's like 12:20 now. And you're calling me? I said, did you not understand? I said 12 noon. I said, I'm gonna give you one more chance. She says, are you open Monday? Yes, I am. Okay, I'll come Monday. I said, no, you're gonna come. I said, what time will you be there on Monday? And she goes, well, you're open all day. I said, yes, but I want to know what time. Huh?
No, that's that time. She got to give you a time.
Exactly. Don't just be like, oh, anytime I get there. No. What time are you going to be there? So she says 8 o'clock. And I said, we open at 8. That's not, I don't want to be opening the store and, interviewing. I said, what about 9? She goes, okay, 9. I said, okay, you're going to be there at 9 a.m. And then I said, and I'm going to tell you this again. You're not there. That tells me how you respect how you feel about time. Okay. So I'll update you whether she got there at 9 a.m. But so that's something that they learn about us, about the American culture, is that time is important. We run on the clock, and maybe that's why Americans are all stressed out and whatnot, because it's all like, you got to get here, you got to do this at this time, blah, 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 but yeah, but even if you work at a bank in Ghana, there are certain places where they know you have to be on time,
Right.
or else you get fired.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so it's a give and take. It's a give and take with that, even though we're not taking anything with the time. Like if you're late a couple of times within a month, you're like gone. Especially with no excuse, no phone call, you didn't call, you didn't, then we don't have time for that. There's too many people in Ghana that are looking for jobs. Too many people that are unemployed looking for jobs, and they should be to me. I mean, I would be desperate. I'd be like, not only am I going to be on time, I'm going to get there maybe 20 minutes before, just to make sure, because here too, when you're riding on their transportation system, these people, like at our bus stops, you're supposed to be at a bus stop at a certain time. And if you're not, because you have the schedule of the bus, what times the buses come. If you're not there, the bus is not going to wait for you, right, and look around and go, where is anyone there? And then move on. If there's no one at the bus stop, it just keeps on trucking. Here, their transportation here, it will stop and it will look for people that's coming up and down the street. Okay. So if your transportation is going to be doing stuff like that, you need to make sure you leave an extra 30 minutes ahead of time to make sure you get to your appointment on time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And not with these excuses of, oh, it was late, whatever. You know how this system runs. So and so even our employee, she was always on time. She might be 5 minutes late, whatever, maximum, very seldomly. That's acceptable. But 10, 15, 20 minute no shows, no. So anyway, again, that's a give and take where they're learning us and I'm learning them.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yes. So I remember you saying something about sometime, like if somebody invites you to their home, they provide everything or something.
Oh, yes. Yes. So with Ghanaians, yeah, they slap down a smorgasbord of food. I mean, I don't know how deep they go into their pockets, but so with the Ghanaian culture, they provide everything. American culture, if you're invited, you're like, what can I bring? And everyone brings a little bit, and then you have this great big meal that everybody partakes of, and it's not too damaging to any one person's pocket. I mean, the host usually carries, most of the load, of course. Right. But if that's like one time it's at one person's house and then you have it at another person's house, then it's eventually shared. But in Ghana, it's like when you're having something, you're providing everything. And I mean, that could set you back quite a bit. But yeah, that's something they do. And it's like, okay, yeah, you don't have to bring anything. We're going to take this, we're going to take the load, and which I just don't know. I don't feel comfortable. I honestly, I don't feel comfortable doing that. But again, it's with the cultures, because right. I think when the people come, they don't feel bad, that they didn't bring anything. I don't think they do. I don't think they feel bad, but yeah, that's one of the biggest things that I've seen that is very different from us. Mm-hmm.
All right. And you mentioned earlier that you lived in various places, experienced a lot of different cultures. So,
Mhm.
what are your final thoughts on the importance of appreciating other cultures?
Well, I will say one thing, since I did live in a lot of places, and from young, I have lived in different countries, so I learned about different cultures. I've lived in rich countries, wealthy countries. I lived in very, developing countries. And what I realize is that although cultures are different, they're a pleasure to learn. The variety, of mankind. Variety is the spice of life, they say. And it is fascinating learning about someone else's culture and trying not to realizing that because someone's culture is different doesn't make their culture or your culture better than the other.
Mm-hmm.
They're just different. And to appreciate and embrace the different cultures, learn about it, absorb as much as you can, about a different culture. It makes life so much more interesting, and it's just so nice to know that there are just so many different facets, of people, and that again, none is better or worse than the other. It's just different. And try to not be judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to take this in myself. I have to remember these things, because sometimes, a lot of Ghanaians may feel like Americans think they're better, their culture is better, but, or like dress more westernized, don't wear your African, traditional fabrics and whatnot, but embrace, and people embrace their own culture. Like, don't try and erase your culture,
Right. Mm-hmm.
but embrace it, and just appreciate it, because again, it's a beautiful thing. God created us, differently. He made within Adam and Eve these different, the DNA to be able to produce, the many different um, physical, qualities, aspects, the skin colors, the eye shapes, the nose shapes, the lip shapes, the body shapes, all these different things. And then, with for instance, Africans, I noticed here women are very voluptuous, very voluptuous. And then there's a culture, with that, even with the way of dressing. And then the Polynesian culture, different. Um, you have the American, you have the Asian, the Indian, the Hispanic. All these different cultures have something different to bring to the table with their foods too. Their dancing. It's just all worth experimenting. Don't be afraid to eat something that you've never eaten before, or which I need to take my own advice on that. But and learn some new dances, um, learning a new language. It makes life so much more exciting. So,
Interesting. Mm-hmm.
don't be afraid of venturing out, into the unknown, so to speak, and
Mm-hmm.
embrace wherever you go, embrace the culture that you're in, and, just see where it takes you. See where it takes you.
Oh, okay, well said. So thank you, Angela. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. And to the viewers, thank you for watching. We're going to see you soon as we meet more people and continue to share their experiences in our next episode of Our Culture to the World. Thanks, Angela. Bye.
Thank you for having me, Belva.
You're welcome.